Elon Musk is terrified. There are currently two companies giving the Tesla and SpaceX founder nightmares. Shockingly, the companies he fears are not auto or aerospace manufacturers, AI startups, or Twitter creditors. They are not direct investors in his businesses, but they do still have control over his financial future. You've likely never heard of these companies before, but Elon Musk claims they are amongst the most powerful in the world. The names of the two companies are Glass Lewis and ISS. Huh? Who? What? I'll say it again. Their names are Glass Lewis and ISS. How do these two businesses you've never heard of before have Elon Musk buy the balls? To understand what these companies do, you first need to know how voting in publicly traded corporations work. It's very simple, ignoring complexities like preferred shares. Each share of stock owned in a publicly traded company gives the shareholder a single vote in important matters. When companies are making a decision such as who to appoint to their board or whether or not they should approve a CEO's pay package, shareholders can vote on these decisions, and the greater the number of shares they have, the greater their ability to influence the decision making of that company. Votes cast by a financial firm like Vanguard or BlackRock on behalf of another individual's shares are called a proxy vote. Remember the concept of a proxy vote, it's important later on. Let's take a look at what Glass Lewis and ISS actually do and why they have so much power. Let's dig into this mystery and find out what's going on. Institutional Shareholder Services, better known as ISS, is a stock proxy advisory firm based in Maryland with around 4,000 employees. ISS provides numerous services to publicly traded companies and financial firms, including analysis, consulting services, and governance for shareholder and proxy voting. ISS controls 61% of the proxy voting recommendation business worldwide. The work they do around proxy voting recommendations is what worries Elon Musk the most. Glass Lewis is a financial advisory firm based in San Francisco with around 400 employees. They work with over 1,300 institutional clients like mutual funds, pension plans, and asset managers to provide coverage on publicly traded companies in markets worldwide. They produce a lot of research on businesses and provide analysis and recommendations to investors. The core of their business focused on making recommendations and enabling proxy voting of publicly traded stocks. Glass Lewis controls around 30% of the proxy voting recommendation business worldwide. Elon recently compared ISS and Glass Lewis to a terrorist group when he said on a Tesla earnings call.
We've had a lot of challenges with institutional shareholder services, ISS, I call them ISIS, and Glass Lewis. There's a lot of activists that basically infiltrate those organizations and have strange ideas about what should be done.
So why is Elon Musk so worried about these two companies, and is it a legitimate concern? Currently, Elon owns 13% of all Tesla shares, down from 20% prior to his acquisition of Twitter, and a nearly $20 billion tax bill on Tesla stock options he owed the IRS. Owning 13% of Tesla still makes him the largest shareholder in the company, but not by as much as he would like. The rise in popularity of exchange-traded funds, or ETFs, has given a large amount of voting power to institutional investors like Vanguard and BlackRock. If you own individual shares in your Vanguard brokerage account, you retain those voting rights and can choose to exercise them however you see fit. However, if you own shares in Vanguard or BlackRock ETFs, those companies retain the voting rights of the shares the ETF holds. This has given financial institutions a large amount of power over publicly traded companies. Vanguard currently owns 7% of Tesla, and BlackRock owns just under 6%. The financial institutions can't possibly make an informed decision on how to vote on every topic that comes up for a vote at the tens of thousands of publicly traded companies worldwide. So they work with ISS or Glass Lewis to provide analysis and recommendations on how they should vote. Both ISS and Glass Lewis have made it clear that environmental, social, and governance, commonly referred to as ESG, are a big part of how they make voting recommendations. ESG has become a controversial topic and is far from a science. For example, big oil companies can have a high ESG rating because they pay lip service to and take meaningless steps towards improving environmental conditions, while a company like Tesla may receive a lower rating for not championing diversity and inclusion. Elon Musk has another term for ESG. He calls it the woke mind virus. All of these topics were in the spotlight recently after Elon Musk and the Tesla board started discussions on a new compensation package for Musk. He tweeted, "I'm uncomfortable growing Tesla to be a leader in AI and robotics without having 25% voting control, enough to be influential, but not so much that I can't be overturned. Unless that is the case, I would prefer to build products outside of Tesla. As for stock ownership itself being enough motivation, Fidelity and other own similar stakes to me. Why don't they show up for work?" Musk is clearly worried that institutional investors hold too much power over Tesla and does not think his 13% ownership stake is enough to protect his decision-making power at Tesla. Tesla, but it seems like he is attempting to hold the Tesla board and shareholders hostage by threatening to focus his time on other AI ventures he's backing. Given that Elon has been selling investors on Tesla as an AI company for years, I don't believe that his publicly stated concerns about control over some yet-to-be-built super-intelligent AI are truly driving his war against financial institution proxy voting, ISS, and Glass Lewis. This seems to be a ham-fisted attempt to secure a larger compensation package for himself. Tesla shareholders have long tolerated Elon Musk's part-time CEO status thanks to the incredible results he has driven, but with the stock down 26% year-to-date, shareholders and financial institutions' patience for this type of behavior may be running thin. So do the recommendations that ISS and Glass Lewis make even matter? In 2023, ISS recommended shareholders vote against the re-election of Tesla chair Robin Denholm. Based on her permitting Tesla executives to borrow against their stock, she was still re-elected. ISS and Glass Lewis were both against Musk's previous compensation package in 2018, but it was still approved. It seems that growth and profits are still the driving force behind financial institutions' proxy voting, despite what Glass Lewis and ISS recommend. Elon Musk defended his position of asking for 25% of Tesla shares on a recent earnings call.
What my concern is here, which is that I see a path to creating an artificial intelligence and robotics juggernaut of truly immense capability and power. And my concern would be, I don't want to control it, but if I have so little influence over the company at that stage that I could be voted out by some sort of random shareholder advisory firm.
Amazingly, ISS had the perfect response, and they released it several years in advance of Musk's tweet. In an analysis on Tesla's corporate governance principles, they wrote, "If an executive who already owns 15 or 20% of a company's outstanding shares is not already motivated to act in the interest of shareholders, there's no credible argument that increasing that stake to 25 or 30% will suffice to accomplish that goal." If you are a Tesla shareholder, what side are you taking, and will you vote?